Today's video is going to be unique. It's going to be a mashup of both of my channels, and we're going to do a little bit of cooking and a little bit of camping and park reviews, and of course Hazel's going to come along. So come join us, grab your coffee for this longer video, and we're going to bring you 2 Bible study messages, so I hope you like it. Hey everybody, I thought I would take a moment and explain this video that you're about to watch, because I have 2 channels. I have my preparedness channel where I do a lot of prepping and I do a lot of recipes, called Kelly's Prepping Kitchen. Very original, I know. And then I also have a channel for when we go camping called Wandering Willbillies. On that channel we share our experiences at different state parks. We do park reviews, restaurant reviews, coffee house reviews in the area where we go camping. I decided to go ahead and merge my videos instead of making one for one channel and one for the other. I decided to go ahead and just kind of do a mashup and do a collab with myself. I had to finish my intro at home. Sorry about the change in scenery, but that's just how my life goes. Because I can see subscribers on both channels being really confused. I can see subscribers on Kelly's Prepping channel going, why is she focusing so much on this park review? And I can see people on the Wandering Willbillies channel going, why does this girl talk so much about food and whether or not she's spending money in January or February at the grocery store? Like, what's going on? Because they don't know that I'm participating in the no spend January and February Pantry challenge. So there you go. My channel is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get, but chances are it's nuts. To really add confusion into the mix, I forgot to say that I had thought about starting a 3rd channel that focuses on Bible study, and I may still do that down the line, but for now I'm just doing voiceovers that have my most recent Bible study message. So in case that throws anyone for a loop too, both channels are going to get my Bible study message. So this shirt is foreshadowing, by the way. You'll notice in the video we do several recipes on the waffle iron. So stick around for that. I hope you enjoy this video. I did have to do a purchase from the grocery store. We needed some fresh produce. While I was there getting a couple of produce items, I kind of did a thing. I have a weakness for coffee creamer. Let me show you what I got. Corey's going to be so ticked off, but he can't hold it against me because he hoards hot sauces. Transparency is my toxic trait. I'm actually pretty proud of my own restraint. I thought I bought more than 4. For my girls, I got the Mean Girls pink frosting. We just saw the movie. Believe it or not, the reboot was better than the original movie. Mean Girls was originally a musical that they made into a movie. So that's the one with Lindsay Lohan. The reboot was an actual production of the musical, so it had all these songs in it. I thought the Eggo Waffle coffee creamer sounded good, so it's like a maple syrup flavor. I love Chobani. I love their yogurt, but I love their coffee creamers. This one is cinnamon coffee cake. This one is cookie dough. We're actually going camping for a few days, and it's supposed to rain, so we're not really going to be able to cook out or grill over an open fire or get our black stone out or our fire disc. We're going to be cooking indoors. The kitchen is pretty small. We don't really like to use the oven that much. We're going to have to get creative with what we prepare. I don't like using the microwave. I feel like being in that little tin can and using the microwave, I'm like frying my brain, which would probably explain a lot. I want to kind of stick with stovetop meals, and I am going to continue the pantry challenge using what we've got. Maybe rehydrating some of our freeze-dried meals by just adding hot water. I wanted to take y'all along with me while I try to plan what we're going to prepare on our trip. When I went to do the H-E-B pickup, all I got were vegetables to dip in our hummus, peppers, baby cucumbers, carrots, celery. We definitely are good on coffee creamers. I think I might take my waffle iron, which if y'all saw my waffle debacle video where I tried to make potato waffles, I'm not scared of my waffle iron. I'm still gonna go in and try to do another recipe. We usually like to keep it pretty easy when we go camping for breakfast, especially on short trips and especially on the last day when we don't want to really be dirtying up a bunch of stuff because we're going to have to wash it and pack it up before we head home. So we like to keep it kind of simple and do grab and go type things on the last day. I'm probably going to bring a couple of my yogurts, Yoplait raspberry with chocolate shavings in it, if y'all can see that. I need to cover 2 breakfasts. I like to have some fruit. We have these honey drop mandarins that are so good, but they've been in our refrigerator for about a month. I think we need to start using these. I'm sorry, the sun is coming out, so if you see me changing colors over here, that's why. I'm standing in front of a window. We're gonna take some freeze-dried egg. It's kind of a pain to take fresh eggs and try not to crack them because we put them on the refrigerator of the camper, and then when we ride to our destination, everything's moving around, so we'll take freeze-dried eggs this time. I'm going through our refrigerator and seeing what kind of leftovers we can take with us. We have some prosciutto-wrapped asparagus that we need to take. We have a tendency to overpack when we go camping, which I guess it's better to overpack than to underpack, but we usually end up bringing back like 60% of what we took, and I'm trying to get where we can just take enough food to actually eat and not have to bring anything back home with us. The drive to Searim State Park was not one of the most scenic drives I've ever seen. We went through Port Arthur, and then now we're going through Sabine Pass, which is a corridor on your way to the state park that has some oil refineries. After we arrived at the campsite, I looked around briefly, tried to get Hazel to go on a walk, but all she wanted to do was chill for a few minutes. Hey everybody, we are at Searim State Park. It is on the southeast corner of Texas and Louisiana. It's really cool because it's like the Gulf of Mexico is directly behind us, but then we also have a lot of marshland too. We've only been here about 30 minutes, but I can already tell you, you want to make sure that you have everything you need. We actually stopped 20 miles away and did not refill on gas. We just got some ice to put on our camper. Regret not topping off the gas because normally a full tank would get us from where we live 2 hours away to where we are, but there's a very strong wind, so we blew through our gas. We're on empty now. The closest place to get gas is 20 miles away. You have to pass all the refineries. It's like one way in, one way out. And when we were coming, people were getting off their shift. So there were like shuttle buses and just lots of traffic going the opposite direction. Luckily, we met a really cool neighbor, and he's gonna get us some gas so we can at least get back to the gas station tomorrow. There's some storms that are supposed to head this way. If you come to the state park with your pets, keep an eye on them. There are alligators around here. There's feral hogs. Hazel, if you didn't think I was a helicopter mom before, you're going to really see me clinging onto you this time. The beach is directly behind us. I forgot to mention, this state park is notorious for its mosquitoes, which is why we planned to come in the winter time, hoping that they would have all died off. But a guy that I just spoke to said, oh no, they're still here. We just got lucky coming on a day where there's a nice breeze. So he said as soon as the sun sets and if the breeze stops, all of a sudden you'll see the mosquitoes kind of coming out of the woodworks. Usually on our first night of camping, we like to take it easy after the drive and setting up and all that. So we're going to keep it simple for dinner tonight. I'm going to make a muffalata on the waffle iron. I was weirded out by all the fat pieces on the Virginia ham, so I had Corey peel some of it off. Then I sprayed my waffle iron, put down a piece of sourdough bread, and then just proceeded to put all the random ham pieces on there. Then I scooped up some of this tapenade and tried to spread that out the best I could. I decided to put this in the middle so it wouldn't seep through the bread and make the bread soggy. Then I proceeded to put some pepperoni and some of my dill mustard and a piece of cheese. Turned out perfect. This waffle muffalata, that's hard to say, waffle muffalata, is outstanding. After dinner, we decided to watch the sunset and walk across the bridge, about a 5-minute walk to the beach. So I thought this would be a good time to do my voiceover Bible study message. I finally finished my study in the book of Hebrews, and my takeaway from this book was that even though it was written to the Christian Jews, so much of it applies to believers today. The author backs up his proclamations by giving examples from the Old Testament that tied in with current times. That was to help the Jews understand, because they could relate to what their ancestors went through in the Old Testament. This study helped me realize just how important it is to read the Old Testament too, and to appreciate how blessed we are under the new covenant of grace through our faith in Jesus. We are not bound to legalism. In chapter 13, verses 15 through 25, I learned that we are to continually praise Jesus always and in all ways. That can be found in verse 15. We are reminded to do good and share with others because it's pleasing to God. That's in verse 16. We're to have confidence and pray for our spiritual leaders. That's in verse 17 through 18. And the author closes with, quote, "May the God of peace, who through the blood of the eternal covenant brought back our Lord Jesus, the great shepherd of sheep, equip you with everything good for doing his will, and may he work in us what is pleasing to him through Jesus Christ, to whom be glory forever and ever. Amen." That's verse 20 to 21. People who live by prosperity gospel teachings may believe that, quote, "give and you shall receive" means to tithe to your church leaders and you will be blessed in this life, but that's not what it means. We are to imitate the likeness of Jesus, who had everything, but yet emptied himself by becoming man, so that we may have everything, which is eternal salvation. And that's a summary of Philippians chapter 2, verses 5 through 8. For you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sake he became poor, so that through his poverty might become rich. That's so that you through his poverty might become rich. That is in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. And I close with this quote, "Give and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, overflowing, will be given into your lap. For whatever measure you measure out will be measured back to you." And that can be found in Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Hazel, I think we're going to have to watch the sunset from indoors. It rained all through the night and then all through the next morning. If you take a close look at the waves, you can see how hard they're blowing. Olivia and I are having coffee. What are you having?
You make a lot of beer.
Why?
Because of you.
Y'all, I had to slow this down. Look how much creamer Corey put in my coffee. Oh my gosh. Have a little coffee with your creamer. I am trying out the pink frosting Mean Girls coffee creamer. I want to love this pink frosting creamer, but Corey poured a cup of creamer in here, so...
Need more coffee.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna have to judge it another time when there's a lot less creamer in there. I put the awning out so Hazel would have a little dry spot to go potty, but now I'm all paranoid about this thing blowing away, so I'm debating over whether or not to close it again. Poor Corey had to go out in the rain to turn on our gas so we could fry up some bacon. We're actually about to make biscuits on the waffle iron. using these sweet Hawaiian roll biscuits. Before we get started on breakfast, let me show you the mosquito situation. Fun fact, only the girl mosquitoes bite. Makes sense. I don't know if y'all can see my screen. I have my window open, but there are a ton of mosquitoes on my screen. I don't know if y'all can see them. 1, 2. They're flying off as I get closer. Wow. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of space in our kitchen, and whenever Corey's trying to make something and I get too close, he gets kind of annoyed. I'll just talk about something else over here in the corner. With all the mosquitoes here, I have found that this herbal armor works really well. I got this, I think, on Amazon, and it's a natural insect repellent. The gold Listerine also works really well if you go to the dollar store and get one of those spray bottles. Put the gold Listerine in there and spray it on you. It's also a very good mosquito repellent. Hazel, you smell that bacon? That's still not enough to get you out of bed, is it? Bacon is done. First, I started by putting the biscuits on the waffle iron. I waited to plug it in until after I had everything assembled because I didn't really want it to start cooking when it takes me about 5 minutes to put all this stuff together. Next, we're just adding crumbled pieces of the churro bacon. We thought that would go good on the Hawaiian sweet rolls because they're sweet anyway. And then Corey did his cheddar cheese. I did my smoked Havarti. And then we added our Virginia ham and just closed the waffle iron after we added this top layer and just let it do its thing. Here we go again, another waffle debacle. This, my friends, is what you call an awful waffle debacle. Unbelievable. We couldn't even shut it all the way, which is probably why it's oozing out, but I think what we should have done is the biscuit dough by itself and then assembled everything and made a sandwich out of it. Check this out. Actually, there might be some hope for us yet. All we got to do is kind of trim off the raw part so we don't get salmonella or botulism. I should have known stretching them out. They were already big biscuits, and I had one on bottom, one on top, all the stuff in the middle with the greasy cheese and bacon and ham. Don't know how much cheese we have left, but yeah, we'll just cut off the edges and let you know how it tastes. Look who finally woke up. Good morning, Hazy. You want some jacked up waffle? Hazel, your family's a mess, aren't they? We're going to see what it's like just to do the biscuits alone and see if they ooze out. Instead of us going to get gas, because we are out of gas, the guy we met yesterday gave us a gallon. That would be enough to get us to Port Arthur to get more gas, but not if we're lugging the trailer. So instead of doing the 1 hour trek in the rain back and forth to get gas, we called roadside assistance and they opened a ticket for us, so they're going to bring us some gas. I thought it'd be pushing it for me to say, can you bring us some paper plates too? Because we're out of paper plates. But the irony of running out of gas when we're literally in the gas capital of Texas, right? We got oil refineries everywhere. I think we passed, Chevron, Valero, just all right up the road. But we're just going to sit here in the comfort of our camper and wait for the gas to come to us. So note to self, in the future, we will do the biscuits separately and then just assemble ourselves a sandwich. You could put some of your hot sauce on it if you need to. It's probably a little bit dry because, number one, you're eating 2 biscuits at once and half of our stuffing oozed out. Expectations versus reality. I mean, I thought that in my head this seemed like something that was doable, but like I said, going forward, we will make the biscuits first and then just assemble it. It's good, but it's a lot of dough. I will always be one of those transparent people that's not going to just try to make something look like it turns out perfect every time. I am what I am, flaws and all. What you see is what you get. Corey was just telling me that the wind was so strong when we came here yesterday. He calculated it. We only got 5 miles to the gallon. Hazel, you're going to have to cross your legs for another few hours till this storm passes, okay? Come to think of it, you usually lounge in bed till about noon anyway. We were going to take you on a walking tour, but it appears that half of the park has a little flood going on. We could drive through it, but we can't walk through it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Behind this cabin.
You can see the stairs. There's a half a stair there, and some old pilings and stuff like that. This is the original camp park headquarters, and during Hurricane Ike, it destroyed this whole park, so it had to be completely rebuilt. So not only it took the building with it, it disrupted the animals, the turtles, and whatever else nests in here. So they redid it. It's a real small park. It was only like 15 slots, one loop. And then you go down the road about 1.5 miles, and then you go into the other section of the park where the boat launch is for kayaking and stuff. And then there's a dump station over there. No shower houses. And now they didn't even really come back with a park headquarters. They just got a small office when you drive in. The only thing they sell is wood and ice.
There's the remains of the clubhouse. When we first got here, I was like, why are those beams and that metal or steel, why is that in the water? And now it makes sense. Time for an afternoon snack of this slow roasted hatch green chili hummus and vegetables, and it did not disappoint. Let me tell you, it was delicious. What you waiting on? Are you waiting on your bed? Is this what you're waiting on? Okay. Let Mama set it down. Go in your little cave. There you go. Since it's raining outside, we're going to go ahead and put together my new GoPro that Corey got me for my birthday, so I can take it with me when I go bike riding and when we go for walks, because I kind of shake like the Blair Witch Project. We're going to put this together. We finally had a break in the rainstorms that have been happening since we got here, so Corey made the most use of his time and went outside to grill some of our sausages for dinner. While Corey is outside grilling our green onion sausage, I am going to just make some of these Glory butter beans. They are delicious on their own, right out of the can. You don't need to add any seasoning. That's why I thought it'd be good to take them camping. If you see me flailing my arms around, I'm not speaking sign language. The mosquitoes around here are something fierce. I can't imagine coming to this place in July or something, and so if you go outside even for a second and come in, you'll bring like 1 in 10 of its closest friends. I'm not sure if y'all can see all the mosquitoes landing on our screen. There's at least 7 there. I know I'm complaining like I'm some kind of city slicker. I got this cork board when we got our camper in 2020, and with the intentions of changing it out every time we go somewhere. I haven't changed it at all. This is the first place we went back in 2020. Hazel, do you like that sausage? Is that sausage good, baby? Is that sausage good, baby? This is like elevating beans and weenies, you know what I'm saying? These glory butter beans are outstanding, and I thought this would be great to take camping because you don't need to add any seasoning to it. It's seasoned right out of the can. And the sausage is excellent. The sun finally decided to come out on the day we're leaving. Shocker. We have some freeze-dried eggs here along with some freeze-dried vegetables. We're going to add cold water and let it rehydrate. Corey just added even more mixture into this, and now we have a year's worth of eggs. We just added some water and kept on adding and stirring till it looked like it was the right consistency. We went ahead and fried up our bacon that we had left, and the eggs were ready to scramble. Add a little avocado and breakfast is served. It looks like a mosquito massacre on our ceiling, our walls, our doors. It's sick. My new sticker should really be a mosquito, not a crab. Well, the bug zapper worked like a charm. Good morning, everybody. It's our last day at Sea Rim State Park. Overall, I had a good time. I'm going to give you the ups and the downs. Whenever I do a park review, I want to be transparent and let you know that this is just my opinion. I know the reviews are mixed on this state park. It's very unique and cool. Nice to have the beach just a few steps away. You can probably hear the waves behind me. And I know that they have camping on the beach, but here where the hookup campsites are, there are lots and lots of mosquitoes. They seem to mostly come out at night though. Like it's morning and I'm not getting bit at all, so I don't see or feel any, but our experience has a lot to do with the weather. I wasn't really excited about using a full tank of gas to come to a place that's 2 hours from our house. So that was not the fault of the park. It was very, very windy. I have no problem with remote places. Obviously, when you go camping, you're going to disconnect and kind of unwind. It is a little unsettling that the closest gas station is 20 miles away. They do have a convenience store that's about 10 miles away, I guess, but it's they don't sell gas. It's just a convenience store. We haven't really got a chance to do much touring of the park because it pretty much rained from when we got here till today, which is the day we're leaving. I know that there's a lot of really good crab fishing here. This experience may not be for everyone. I enjoyed it. I probably wouldn't come back. That's just me. We've been to a lot of great parks over the years, state parks, RV parks, Army Corps of Engineer parks, and this one just probably isn't on my list to come back to, but I can definitely see where somebody who enjoys the things that maybe I'm not a fan of, where they might want to come back. Because like I said, there's crab fishing, there's a lot of good bird watching. When you step onto the beach, which is just a few feet away across the bridge, there's no mosquitoes. And there's no mosquitoes right now this time of day, but we were literally playing whack-a-mole on our ceiling and on our walls and everything last night. We must have killed 100 mosquitoes. I'm one of those people that likes to sit outside my camper and just kind of look around. You can't do that in the evenings here. You can't come out and watch the sunset. So I felt kind of claustrophobic between the rain, the mosquitoes. Being locked up in our camper for the whole weekend was kind of rough. The cell signal is kind of touch and go. I was able to get the internet, but I couldn't text all weekend, which, you know, when you're trying to check in on your family is not the best feeling in the world, but I get it. You go camping to disconnect, unwind. I get all that. But people that I've watched do reviews on this park talk about how the signal is so good. I mean, maybe it varies from plan to plan or carrier to carrier, but that was not the case for me. We'll go do a park tour here in a little bit. I think the rain has passed and we have no choice but to do it today because we're leaving in a couple of hours. This road behind me, this must be how you access the beach and the primitive campsites. Okay, so this is number 9. And this is right by the road that takes you to the beach. That is site 15. Looks like it's underwater a little bit from the rain. This is campsite number 10. Pull through. You got your little picnic area over there. This is our campsite. We are at site number 12. Got a little visitor there. I don't want to disturb him. This is the view, if you can imagine why I wanted to sit outside. Hey, birdie. That pier is just a few steps away. The sun is rising. I don't know if you can see the pier in the distance, but just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the sandy beaches. He's not afraid of me. Not that he should be, I'm just saying he let me get kind of close. So we only have to walk past one campsite to get here to the pier. Do not crab near alligators. You think? Water is surprisingly clear over here. The entrance to the park, that little building over there, public restrooms. This part was all underwater. It was like a pond yesterday. Here's a little picnic table and gazebo for day use guests, I guess, or I guess people staying in the park can come here too. Got a couple of benches. I believe that might be the one cabin that this state park has. So we are behind the cabin, and you see all that water? I can't walk through that. Hazel saw me across the parking lot and just came running. Corey couldn't keep up with her. What do you think of this driving tour? You can't really see anything, can you? That's better, huh, Hazel? Okay, now we're going to do a little driving tour of the park. There's not a whole lot to see. Obviously, a lot of these spots are occupied. There are mostly pull-through sites. There are some that are inside the loop that you have to back up into. Some of the sites retain a lot of water, so that's something to keep in mind when you're going camping. You want to know what spots those are and try not to get those. Here we are going down that street that I was attempting to walk down towards the beach. This is where you would drive your car if you were going to do some primitive camping on the beach. Obviously, you can still get to the beach on foot by way of the boardwalk that is near our campsite. Now we've just turned around, and then we're going to just loop through the park. Here is the little parking lot where you can do some crabbing and walk across the boardwalk to the beach. We just passed the entrance to the park on the left. Now we're passing that cabin that I could not walk behind because of all the high water, so we're driving through now. Hazel, I'm freezing. I gave you my jacket and Daddy says you got blankets underneath there. I keep seeing objects in the water and every time I'm wrong, I'm like, is that an alligator? And Corey's like, no, that's a rock. And I'm like, is that a duck? No, that's a piece of wood. And I just told them with my luck, I'll be like, oh, look at that rock over there, and it's an alligator. This will be a fun place to come chill. I thought I would do my walk and talk with Jesus right now and let you know my most recent Bible study. I began the book of James and I read the first 4 verses. So, a little bit about James. He's the half brother of Jesus. He was born to Mary and Joseph. And the letter begins by introducing James as a servant of God and the Lord Jesus Christ. He too was once an unbeliever. For even his own brothers didn't believe him. That was a quote from John 7:5. Paul even spoke of James receiving a post-resurrection visit by Jesus. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles, and last of all, he appeared to me also. That can be found in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 6 to 7. James was referred to as James the Just. He was the pastor to a church in Jerusalem at the time that the Jews were being persecuted and scattered. This was around the time that Paul, who was known as Saul, had approved the death of Stephen. That can be found in Acts chapter 8, verse 1. James addresses his letters to the 12 tribes who were scattered. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. That can be found in verses 2 through 4. We just learned all about this in Hebrews as we studied God's discipline of His children and how we are to endure these hardships as a test of our faith. That's in Hebrews chapter 8, verse 28. James appears to be reiterating what Paul had said, comparing this life to a race, and we are to train for it always until we reach the finish line. God let Satan sift Peter as wheat to test his faith, yet Peter said, therefore, let those who suffer according to God's will entrust their souls to a faithful Creator while doing good. That can be found in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 19. Paul also sums it up best. And we know that God works all things together for the good of all those who love Him, who are called according to His purpose. That's in Romans chapter 8, verse 28. Is your faith being tested right now? And if so, how will you respond? When He tests me, I will come out as pure as gold. That can be found in Job chapter 23, verse 10. There wasn't much more to look at on the other side of the park other than the trail that went across that boardwalk. That was really cool. But now we're about to drive out of the park and go about a mile up the road, and I'm going to show you where the dump station is and where the kayak and boat launch is. Closest gas station 30 minutes away. We just pulled out of the park. Okay, we just turned into the other part of the park, and up here on the right you will have the dump station, and you will also have a little bit further up are the kayak and the boat launch. The highlight of my trip was seeing that they had a couple of Stuckies along the way. Guys, I said Stuckies, not Buc-ee's. Stuckies is the OG roadside convenience store from my day in the 70s. I didn't know that they still existed. They're known for their pecan logs, which are divinity, and they are so good. But they started out in Georgia at a pecan stand. Think they started making candy, and then it just branched out to full-blown convenience stores. I kind of like them a little bit better than Buc-ee's, if I'm being honest. One thing Buc-ee's really needs to work on is having a place to sit down. Have you ever noticed they have so much food, but there's no places to sit? This place had a couple of big screen TVs and a lot of tables, a whole bunch of fun souvenirs. So if you're ever in this side of town near Port Arthur, hit up some of these Stuckey stores. If you stuck around to the end of the video, all I gotta say is God bless you. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know that my channel's a hot mess. I know if you end up here, chances are you've reached the end of YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.